Okay, we're going to get into some quick painting techniques here. This is a little sort of lightsaber wielding guy I sketched on a plane going to a con a while ago. But I think he's a likely subject for doing some quick tonal painting stuff. Again, like if you're doing comps and you're doing something that you need to show some people to design really, really quickly. So it's a quick sketch of the character, and I've scanned it in grayscale, and I haven't gone to a pure white on the background of my drawing. In fact, I'm going to even darken it up a little bit more. I'm going to levels, and we'll go here, and I'm going to drop. If you see down here, almost no one ever uses this part. Everyone works up here. I can drop all that lights to a darker. Let's go right about there. And then what we're going to be doing is just going ahead and lightening up. Now there's a couple ways you can do. If you want to use the dodge tool, you can use the dodge tool. The thing to be careful about with the dodge tool is if you go too hard, it gets kind of on you. But we'll use it a bit. Let's mess with it. See that? That's what I mean. Now it works in the lightsaber. See how it's glowing there now? But it's not bad for roughing in some of the shapes of the form. But what I'm going to prefer to use is brush tool. And I'm going to use, this is a brush I made. I call it a Capcom style brush. So it's got size, opacity, and color opacity on it. I'm going to have it on white. And basically we're just going to start carving back into this shape, this little guy. If you want to, you could do this on another layer if you wanted another layer of control. I'm pretty confident with this stuff. But if you want, there is no problem with putting this on another layer. So I'm just going really fast. Actually, another speed tip is to work even with a bigger brush and then go back to your smaller brushes. Again, if we're talking about tricks and tips, that's a good one. But you can see now how you're getting more of a full value going on here. You know, again, the other good trick to this stuff is to stay zoomed out so you see the whole thing. You can come back in later and clean up. He's sort of like a hairy-faced little guy. Now he's going to have this obvious light source here, so I'm going to go and hit some of these edges a little harder. Right over the top of that hair. Still keeping what I got, but as it would reflect the light from that lightsaber. Little reflections in the eyes. Again, this whole side would be really hit by that lightsaber. And even the top of the lightsaber itself would probably be pretty darn bright. And the nose on that side would be hit. And this arm. Going down here. Same thing with this back arm. You can see just by having that, we have our shadow base from the drawing. We took care of our midtones by toning everything darker. And now we're just adding essentially highlights. So again, that's why it's a good quick technique, because it's taking care of a lot of the work already for you. And you can see how a lot of really interesting things have already kind of happened in here. And again, this is just going really, really fast. Highlight these. You can see how you can get a lot of nice thick, thin shapes with this brush with the opacity and the brushes are on the CDs, so you can always see. I'm going to add some stroke detail now. Just kind of matching some of the strokes I did when I did the pencil piece. I always find that kind of nice looking, especially when it's kind of a more designy comp piece. Adding a little bit in here. I'm going to go ahead and go back to that dodge tool when we talked about it not wanting to make it too glow, but the glowing works on the lightsaber, so I'm going to go ahead and let the lightsaber glow a little bit. Give a little bit of these sort of extra bits glowing around it. Really always adds something. And then if you want to use the dodge tool to just sort of, you know, adjust things, like I want to make this a little bit brighter here or a little brighter there, but just carefully, okay? But I think you can really see now how this is all coming together. Going back to the brush tool, I'm going to add some, oops, I went to the pencil tool, but that's okay. I'll keep that highlight. Just adding some detail to these things on his little pouch. And the little dots of highlights really kind of fake detail that's not really around. This is little splashes of value. Again, just kind of going with that rendering style I had with the piece as it is. As I'm doing these squiggly shapes, I'm pressing harder as I go towards the edge of that shadow to emphasize the shadow. And then you can always play again with opening up levels and see, you know, oh, do you want to darken it a little bit more? Or do you want to lighten it a little bit more? You know, all kinds of stuff in there. I'm going to go ahead and use the dodge, not the dodge tool, but use the burn tool just to beef up some of the shadow areas a little bit more. Give us a little more just beef in general to him. Kind of emphasize that shadow back there. Okay, there's some super quick comp tool. I think that would be fine to hand to somebody, like, oh, this is my concept for the guy. Okay, in the next one, we'll do quick coloring and texture brush techniques on this same character.